Hey, good day, everybody. It's your man Tyke. I'm coming to you with another true spook story. That's right. Everything I say is true and accurate to the point. All my stories can be fact checked via the news during that era. Now let's begin. Today's story is about a couple who owned a barbecue stand. I wouldn't say it was a stand, let's say a barbecue truck next to the projects where I lived. Now, only the adults back in the day were able to eat barbecue. As you know, in most cases, the youth, they got neglected or they didn't get the delicacies or the finer things in life when it came down to it. Well, there was this couple, I'm going to call them the Tories. They had their business set up next to the projects where I lived for as long as I could remember. As long as I could remember. And their business was doing so well. Everybody would go and get their barbecue. Everybody would go and get their barbecue. Oh my God. I used to say, when I grow up and get a job, I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm gonna get me some barbecue and I wanna taste it. I wanna see what the big hype about. Everybody would get the barbecue and they made a lot of money. They made a lot of money. So one Sunday morning, my mom wakes me up. It's about 4 day in the morning. My mom wakes me up and she say, "Hey, Type, run to the store, the corner store, Werico, and get me a pair of stockings." So I say, "Okay." She was getting ready to go to church. So I say, "Okay." So I put on my shoes and my little coat. It was chilly. And as I'm walking up the road, I'm seeing a light in the woods directly across the street from the barbecue truck. Now, as I'm seeing this light, I don't pay no attention to it. Maybe homeless people, vagabonds are sitting over there drinking, partying, smoking, or whatever. It wasn't my concern. But I just had the inkling to keep focusing on those woods. So I walk past and I look at the barbecue truck and I see Mrs. Torrey's, I see Miss Torrey in the shop and in the truck, and you can see her. And I don't wave because she don't see me. It's dark out. You can't see out, but you can see in, I'm assuming. And so I'm walking, and then I was like, okay, let me just go ahead up here and just keep on walking. So I go to the store and I get my mom's stocking, and I'm walking on my way back. As I'm walking on the way back, I see Mr. Torrey come from across the street, and he's carrying a bag in his hand. Now, with him carrying this bag in his hand, like I'm over his back, I should say, he's carrying this bag over his shoulder, and he must have seen me because he started hurrying up, scuttling, that is, and he jumps the canal instead of going around. He jumps the canal and he trips and he slips and he falls. The bag hit the ground and he gathers the contents of the bag, what fell out real quick, and he goes in the shop and he goes into the trailer, and that's the end of that. He didn't say hi, and I was far enough away he would have had to yell to say hi anyway. So I don't pay no attention to it, and I'm like, well, I want to get home. I want to watch my G.I. Joe and, eat me some cereal. Now, as I'm walking, I see some kind of oil on the ground. And although I tried to avoid it, I stepped in it anyway. I didn't think nothing of it, just some oil, gunk, gook. Didn't pay me no attention. It was dark. I couldn't see a color. So I go home and I hand the stocking to my mom. I say, "Hey, Mom, here go your stocking." And she like, no, I wanted tote. And you brought me coffee. Now go back up there and get me my goddamn thing. Then she asked my cousin Robert, she like, hey Robert, maybe you can go with him and maybe he'll get the right thing this time around. Me and cousin Robert, we was always rivals. So naturally we got up and we said, Robert, like, hey, I'll race you there. And I'm keep in mind, I'm a portly little fat ass little kid at this time. So he always won. This boy was in shape, man. But nevertheless, I challenged him up as I'm running, trying to keep up with him. Mr. and Mrs. Torrey's looking out the window because now the sun is up, the light is up, and they can see us. And they wave at us, and I wave back, not knowing nothing, not thinking about nothing. Robert waves too. And so we rush up here to get the stockings for my mom. Come back, Robert, pick out the proper stocking. They praise him like a hero. So cousin Robert looks down. He say, man, did you cut yourself? You got blood on your shoe. I say, nah. I say, I ain't cut myself. I say, well, maybe we stepped on a dead dog or something. I'm just coming up with every excuse, or something. And he like, yeah, that's blood. Go rinse that off. So naturally, I go outside, get the water hose, bump the shoes off and everything. So we watching TV, cartoons, etc. After Sunday church, everybody's gathered at the barbecue stand, and this pit smoke is going on. It's getting down, baby. Everybody's eating. The kids, we got McDonald's burgers or fried chicken, and all the adults in the projects, man, they just enjoying their goddamn barbecue. So this incident never happened. I never saw anything like this again. About another 2-3 years. And we're going to fast forward a little bit here. Now, Mrs. Torrey has passed away, so the only one left is Mr. Torrey. So now, as Mr. Torrey is doing something, I'm a little older, and Mr. Torrey like, hey, Tyke, come here. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, Mr. Torrey? And he like, hey, man, come eat with me. You want a sandwich? And I'm like, I'm in a rush, Mr. Torrey. And I always wanted this barbecue, but deep down inside, someone was like, don't eat it, man. Don't eat it, man. And I said, all right, Mr. Torrey. I said, yeah, I'll take a sandwich. So he goes in there, and I say, what you mean? Because the sign on it was like Real Pit Barbecue. I said, Mr. Torrey, I say, are you like, Real Pit Bull Barbecue. I'm like, Mr. Torrey, what you mean? You cooking up pit bull dogs and stuff? And he like, no, it's the male cow. We're cooking male cows. We're cooking bulls. And I said, oh, that makes sense. So we laugh. And so he gives me a sandwich, put the sauce on it. And when I tried to bite into it, it was the hardest fucking meat, man, you can ever grind your teeth against. This shit was hard. And I'm like, damn, this what the fuck everybody going crazy about? So I say, Mr. Torrey, I'm kind of good. I say, I got to rush on home. He like, if you need anything tight, stop by. I got you. I say, yes, sir. So I go, and naturally I tossed that hard-ass sandwich away. I ain't finished it. I couldn't even bite through the bitch. I tossed it away. Later on, Mr. Torrey passes away. No more than 2 years after that, he passes away. His son, Tory. His son takes over the business, and his son didn't have it in him to be a barbecue man. So his son was too busy in the big donks and big tires, big wheels. So the barbecue stand kind of like went to shit, and he had left it abandoned on the property next to the projects, and the city caved and tore it down and took it away. Now, true spook people, listen to me good when I tell you this. They had started developing the woods across the street from where the barbecue pit was. Now, I'm not saying this is what they was doing. I'm just telling you the information. You can fact check it. Once they started clearing out the woods, they found the remains of 13 human beings, two dogs, and if I'm not mistaken, a cat, all in a pile buried across the street from the barbecue pit. They didn't put two and two together. I never came forward and told that I seen Mr. Tory coming out of the woods with that bag. I never mentioned my cousin Robert showing me, no pointing out to me the blood on the shoes. Everybody, if I need to use my better senses, I think Mr. and Mrs. Tory was selling the adults in the projects I was at human flesh. The kids never got to eat it. I think they were selling human flesh, people. They found the remains of 13 bodies and some animals directly across the street. I seen this man come from out of the woods with a flashlight in a bag over his shoulder. Am I saying he was unaliving people over there? I don't know. Maybe throughout the course of time, a group of bums, vagrants, went over there, passed away, and died. But what happened to the meat on their bones? It was bones they found, not decayed regular bones. Kind of make you not want that pulled pork anymore, right? Okay, everybody, there you have it. Real pit bull barbecue. All right, everybody, I'm tight. Telling you guys, be careful what you eat, because you never know what it ate before you. Take care, everybody. God bless.